And we are recording.
So, last we left off, you all had more or less, I think, collectively reached a breaking point, and as a result, a lot of you wondered for a moment if this was really worth it. And at your hesitation, a doctor who introduced themselves as Dr. Saren Gainsborough decided to usher you towards a place that they really didn't clarify much of, only throwing open the doors and proceeding to basically claim that if you have any aversions to anything medical related, please be up front and they'll try to do their best. But as currently the four of you walk inside, Razz being a little quiet for good reason, after having witnessed quite a few things fall apart. Dr. Saren walks ahead of you guys by a small margin and pauses for a moment as you all linger at the doorway. You're not going to hear anything. This is a soundproofed area.
So, anything happening out there we just won't hear?
Correct. As similarly, anything that happens in here, no one will hear out there.
Mm,
Does this upset you?
not really, just. I guess I wasn't expecting it.
You don't expect a doctor to follow Hippocratic oath? And kind of half smirks.
Not normally to the point of soundproofing their office.
Best be away from prying eyes and hearing ears, I suppose.
I guess.
Oh, and fair warning, please do not try to touch anything. I know where everything is in this abode of mine. It's ill-advised to snoop around. And as the four of you generally look around, this first hallway that you're in is relatively barren. There's a couple of windows that are almost barred shut, and there's sconces on the opposite wall lighting this corridor, but it looks barren. It looks as if it's barely been lived in as they continue walking. Come now. And they kind of throw open the doors inward rather than towards you guys and step inside. And just goes, "Oh, I forgot to pick up that." And kind of kneels down and picks up a kind of half satchel, half book carrying case and just throws it over their shoulders and continues walking. You're welcome to have a seat if you'd like. I need to go to my study in order to get everything that I need to do the checkups.
Um, alright.
And just not hurries, but more casually walks through another door, which you can definitely see is made. This this place is definitely made from more than just them, but for whatever reason, it is empty, or at least hasn't been touched by anybody but them. What do you guys do as Saren is away?
Tsubasa just presses a key on the piano, just... Is it even in tune?
Make an investigation check. Or perception, it's up to you.
The plus 14 or the plus 3? Holy shit!
Not only is this piano perfectly in tune, it seems recently restrung.
Huh.
So if anything, the wood looks old and damaged, but the strings inside you can hear crisp and clear as if they just got redone.
He's going to play a little bit on it.
What tune do you play?
Something quiet but not quite somber. I guess the best I can describe it is the same vibe as the girl who hums along to the fan.
Roll performance for me.
25.
As you're playing, you kind of get lost for a second. It's easy to get lost in the music that you're playing when it sounds as crisp and clear as this piano does. But what snaps you out of it with your excellent perception is you hear a soft click somewhere in the room.
Oh, son of a bitch. Just... That does make him stop as he glances around to see where this click was.
Roll investigation.
Ah, curses, I can't escape the investigation roll. 13.
You're not sure entirely. You were too absorbed in the music by the time it happened that whatever clicked in the room, it sounded not far, but far away from you.
At which point Tsubasa is going to turn to Lance, because it's hard not to notice Lance standing right there. And just, hey, did you hear that?
Would Lance have heard it?
What's your passive perception?
It 18.
At first, you dismissed it as a misclick of the keys, but when Tsubasa brings up, like, oh, something clicked in the room, you go, oh yeah, it did. Weird.
Did you hear where it came from?
Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the heart of the cards.
I
And
believe
cards
in the
of the
heart of the
dice.
cards.
Heart of the cards, cards of the dice.
RNGesus.
Somewhere far off, but not like far in the sense that it's out of the room, just far. It's a big room.
Can
I
they
know it came from in the
investigate
room.
together?
What was that?
Can they investigate together?
How do you do so?
Oh,
Scooby
well,
Doo this shit.
I guess take a look at anything weird on that side of the room, and I'll take a look at anything weird on this side. Unless it's
Just to be clear, which side of the room is Tsubasa pointing towards?
just this general area down here. That away.
I mean, they did say not to snoop, essentially. Are you sure this is a good idea?
If it's something that opened, we can just close it again. We're not trying to snoop for anything. We're just trying to figure. Oh no, maybe it would probably seem weirder for something to be open randomly than for us to close it. You
That's a
know?
good point.
So we'll just find it, we'll close it, we won't snoop. And
I didn't know you could play.
oh yeah, I had a lot of lessons when I was younger. Like not just for piano, but I like music.
Where are you guys investigating?
Tsubasa is going to be looking around up here.
And Lance will be looking around down here.
Tsubasa,
Yeah.
roll investigation for me.
Don't say. Ooh, 22.
At first, nothing seems really out of place. Yes, there's the blackboard that you're basically right next to, but it's clean. It looks as if it was recently like washed and dried off and made pristine and pretty. There's also the chair in the opposite side of the room from you behind you, which you turn to look at, and it looks worn, damaged, like it's been repaired a few too many times and might be a sentimental object for some reason.
Hmm.
But then you look at the shelf, the open shelf, and though it doesn't seem to have been recently opened, from what you can gather, there are a couple of objects that you can see inside of it.
You are just tempting us to snoop.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you what you see.
But I don't see anything that looks like it could have been opened by a mechanism of some sort.
Nope.
He is going to let curiosity win and take a peek into here.
You see a couple of objects. One is an open book with blank pages, and it's sitting next to almost a lantern of some sort. It looks like a lantern, but it's hovering in place.
That's all I see in there.
As far as you can tell from this angle, yes. Because even with your height, this boudoir essentially is much bigger than you.
Oof.
That's on the lowest shelf, by the way. The floating lantern and the blank page book.
Can I not see what's on other shelves?
Strangely, they look barren.
Even if I stand on tiptoes?
Roll perception.
Percepi 17.
You see a couple of leaves as if something might have been taken out of this boudoir, this almost, and it hits you as you're thinking about it of what could have been removed in a living room area of a doctor's office. This was probably a medicine cabinet before he cleared it out. They cleared it out. And it's being repurposed, essentially.
Yeah. After a moment, he's just going to take a step back and briefly wonder if he should close the doors.
What do you do?
He closes them a little bit.
Lance,
Yep.
you're standing currently in front of almost a desk. It looks old and worn, seen better days, or perhaps has been well loved. There's parchments and scrolls and old worn books, and on the side there's a nightstand almost of an old, outdated, kind of mundane, real like lantern that you'd see from Victorian eras. It looks antique and almost original design. What do you do?
I'm just going to look to see if there's anything that could have been activated by a mechanism of some sort.
Roll investigation.
Odds of the dice, RNGesus, all of that, please.
What is it with the...
Well, at least it's not in roll.
So, with a 13, you don't immediately find anything out of place, but if you continue searching, you might. You get a feeling that something is off here.
He's not gonna investigate further.
You hear in a slight distance as you wander away from the desk the click of boot heels against tile as someone reapproaches. Walks through the still open doors. Goes, alright. While holding an odd looking book almost. It's kind of closer to what people would know as a witch's grimoire, almost. And is flipping through it with an unnaturally precise speed, as if turning multiple pages and reading them at the same time. So, who wants to go first? The tiefling girl kind of looks unsettled by being in my presence, so I won't suggest her first.
I mean, I can go and looks at like Lance and Sue walking around. If those two don't have any objections.
Tsubasa just shrugs after a moment, just like, I'm okay with either way, I guess.
I mean, it's better to get this done sooner than later, right?
You're going to be seeing me quite a bit. This is just the first checkup.
Ah, no.
So, wait, like you're our assigned doctor, like, permanently?
Would you rather talk to someone who doesn't remember the things that you've been through? And quirks a brow.
I mean, point taken.
You don't have to trust me, let alone immediately. Just know that I'm not. And they kind of tap the side of their jaw. I'm not against you. Whether you believe I'm for you or otherwise is not my predicament. So just know that I am not against you. Now, Helia,
And I'm assuming I'm going to follow you somewhere.
well, yes, but would you rather sit or stand?
Sit.
Alright. Would you prefer a comfy kind of area or just any will do?
I'm not picky.
Very well. Follow me. And just walks through the doors again. And pauses at the doorway, leans around, looks directly at Tsubasa, even though the words seem to address the whole room. Stop snooping, I heard the click, and walks away.
I was just playing the piano! How was I supposed to know the piano would make a click?
It's the most indignant I was just playing the piano I've ever heard.
I was over on the bench!
But Helia, as you follow Dr. Saren into what seems to be an almost master bedroom, they kind of hitch to the right and start heading to a different location. But you instinctively kind of look around, whether it's, because you're interested in what's here or because you've already seen how barren other places are. And this is no different. It seems uninhabited, for lack of a better word. It seems almost eerily empty, as if Saren makes it a point not to come in here.
Spooky.
And just walks through the door. Like, come on.
That missing beat. I have little legs. I can only go so fast.
I know. Relax, I'm just making a joke. And gestures to the bed in front of them. Like, they're facing the wall that the door you just came through.
This one.
Yes. And that book flips open again, and with a summoning of almost a feather quill pen, just starts to write a couple of things down and goes, "How are you feeling lately?"
Tired most of the time, I guess. Oh, 1 second. I'm good now.
Alrighty. And they continue to write a couple of things down, pausing for a moment to look up at you, Helia, and going, "And how does this affect your day to day?"
I don't know. I guess it's just lots of things feel exhausting. or it's hard to pay attention some days because I'm tired.
And they write another few notes down, and look back up at you again. Honest, can you rate how difficult it becomes to do things on days like those?
Um, I guess maybe like a 6 or a 7, because I can still do like basic simple things, but anything more complex is a struggle.
Another writing seemingly only one more thing down. It goes, alright. And how would you say this exhaustion manifests? Or previously manifested if it has been lasting up until now?
I guess I have a hard time sleeping, and sometimes it feels like I don't sleep at all.
Do you have nightmares at any point?
Sometimes, but they're not frequent.
Do you wake up in fear or terror?
Not really.
Writes
I
down
don't
something
think
else.
the other day counts. That was magic.
Glances up at you with kind of a quirked brow again, like the same one that was given to Tsubasa, but doesn't note it down seemingly. At least at this point. Your difficulties focusing. Does that last through the exhaustion or without the exhaustion?
Mostly just with the exhaustion, I think. More than normal, at least.
More than normal?
I mean, I've always had a hard time focusing on something if I guess I don't want to do it or I don't think it's interesting, but not being able to focus at all is a newer thing.
They nod, jot down a couple more notes. You said you had trouble sleeping. Could you elaborate?
I mean, I guess it's sometimes I have a hard time falling asleep, and when I wake up in the morning, even on days where I fall asleep quickly, sometimes I don't feel like I've really slept.
Understandable. Happens to the best of us. But continues to write down a few more notes. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Is there anything else that's important to tell you right now?
It's up to you. How much are you willing to trust me with?
I mean, you're a doctor. I don't see a reason to lie or hide things.
Just because someone is a profession does not mean that they should be immediately trusted. Some people in my profession do not swear to the oath that I do. To not harm my patients, to not
Then they
cause
shouldn't
them
be
damage.
doctors.
Well, to be fair, we do also have clerics and war mages and people who can use cure, but it's here nor there.
Sorry. My brain just played the everyone can cast cure. It came free with your keyblade.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically what's happening here. Just everyone can cast this simple healing spell. It basically came with your keyblade. But that doesn't make you a doctor.
No, it does not.
They kind of look over their notes that they've jotted down and snap the book shut, disappear, making the kind of odd-looking quill pen disappear into thin air. Goes, all right. Would you like to address the sleeping issue first or the depression? Because they're both technically tied together, but I can address one or the other at the current moment.
I guess the sleeping first?
Alright. This will be a little bit of trial and error, but if you trust me, I will work to getting the best I can for you, if that's alright with you.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Alright. You're free to go back to your friends. I have to make a couple of notes in my study. Which, as this has been happening, what are the other three chuckle fucks doing? Because this is technically taking a while.
Tsubasa is just back over at the piano, just like, fuck it, might as well continue to play, get something to do.
Make a performance check for me.
Here's to hoping I get a good performance again. 15's alright, yeah?
It is. You don't hear another click, but you are playing a very simple, almost entertainment tune. Something that kids learn in nobility to help them remember the keys,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something to
And
do
it's
with
not
his
bad.
hands.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just simple.
It's not fucking Mozart over here. It's literally just think, 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 think.
Lance, what are you doing?
Just sitting and waiting, really. Listening to the music.
Both Tsubasa and Lance had a shared brain cell moment, and we're both just like, we're not snooping. No, we're not snooping. Yeah, we're not snooping.
After about... You can't really tell time aside from your gummy phones. And when you check them after what feels like maybe 10 minutes, you realize an hour has passed.
I'm a soup here.
It's not a straight line, it's a big ball of wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yes, precisely.
Helia, you come back to a simple, jovial tune being played and the silence of people who have basically decided this is a waiting room.
Another reason for Tsubasa to be playing music. You guys are too quiet!
I mean, Lance is probably distracted playing a gacha game.
Yeah, how's Wonder Rush treating you? I'm tempted to make you roll.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
What would be the roll for gotcha pulls?
A D100, maybe?
I guess so.
Yeah, Go ahead, roll a d100.
What's a 36 get me?
A
Some
2-star.
comments.
No. You know what it gets you?
What?
You're pulling for the 5-star. You get the 4-star on the banner.
I will take that. It's better luck than I have.
No. Let me finish. It's the same 4-star you've gotten 3 times in a row.
Oh, you motherfucker.
End of all gotcha players' existence. Get this motherfucker out of here.
It's like
Can't believe
Chi-Chi.
you've done that.
It's like Chi-Chi.
I feel like Helia comes back to the exclamation of, "Oh, come on!" from Lance.
That being enough to startle Tsubasa and stop playing, just like, what? What happened?
I think this game
Don't-
is killing him.
It's not killing me, it's killing my wallet. There is a very important distinction.
Then stop spending money on it?
Razz speaks up and goes, No, wait. I want to see where this goes.
I just
I want to see
don't.
how far it goes.
I just don't get this whole gotcha game thing you always play. Why would you just want to pull for a chance for a character you want?
It's about the rush, the potential. Sure, you might get just their weapon or whatever, but you might get the fancy PNGs. It's
I
all
get
about the fancy PNG.
You just want to look at the prettiest characters. Be honest with yourself.
the look Tsubasa is giving Lance right now is just the expression of you do you, my guy.
So what I'm hearing is that you have a gambling addiction?
I can stop at any point I want.
Then do.
Stop playing that
No.
game.
No.
Just until we're out of here.
And
You were about
And you hear a slight chuckle from Saren as they walk over to Helia and kind of hold out a small bottle.
Visible question mark as she takes the bottle.
Take only as you need it. It should help with. How should I put this? It's much less a sleep. It helps you sleep. It regulates what you can't do to help you recognize what you should do, basically.
You mean a sleep aid?
No, not quite. If it was a sleep aid, it would actively give you a sort of drowsiness to encourage the sleep. This regulates your. It regulates the mindset that you're on. Kind of like a mood stabilizer, but for sleep. It should also help the depression there. Remember, take as needed. This can get a little addictive, mildly.
Oh.
I will be careful.
Good. And turns to the other 3. Well,
I guess I can.
and they look kind of over Helia because Helia is tiny.
That's not hard to do.
Yeah. And kind of watches you for a moment. And then squints. Recovering anxiety?
Um, And he just does the gesture of a little bit.
Just the hum of somebody who probably got the nail on the head and doesn't give a shit.
Probably. As if there's a chance that they were wrong.
And then stares at you a little longer. One moment. You're an afflicted, correct? You're not born this way?
Yeah, I'm an afflicted.
Well, don't sound so dejected. I wasn't insulting.
There was also a little flinch from Lance when they said that.
Oh, goodness gracious, you're both traumatized. Wonderful. And just steps back through the doorway. And you hear the boot heels click again, as if to note that they're walking away.
Do I follow or?
What do? There was no indication to follow,
Yeah.
but you did get the note of basically caught you on sight.
Yeah.
Target spotted.
No, that was Tsubasa asking in character, do I follow? Just
I mean, they probably would have said something if they wanted you to. Well,
I mean, and he does just sort of trail after to peek through the doorway, just like they would have, yeah.
Just swings open the door and goes, "Why are you taking so long?"
I did. You didn't say to follow you. You just left.
Yes, at your own leisure.
He does.
But then again, these meetings do generally take quite a bit. And steps away.
He follows inside. Just the one.
Tsubasa, this is the one area you've seen that does not look pristine and clean and tidy and almost eerily empty and barren. It is messy and chaotic, and there's potted plants in the distant room, and it looks kind of like pinkish purple flowers or berries or something. There's a floating fire on the side of the room that looks like it's a brazier of some kind. There's a bookshelf and a globe and a desk. It looks, for lack of a better term, inherently chaotic.
Boss is just looking all over the place, just like, whoa, oh, wow.
And just walks towards the desk. Not even stopping you from looking around.
Okay, good, because he's looking around, just like, what even is all of this stuff? Just.
Well, it's my study, obviously.
What sort of trees are they? Are these? Or bushes?
They grow whatever is needed. Currently, I'm working on something with oleander.
Wait, so these things can grow whatever?
Yes,
Huh.
as long as I have an awareness of how the plant or poison or berry or natural remedy works, I can recreate it.
That's actually really cool.
Perhaps. And doesn't even acknowledge it. And you hear scribbling.
And thank you, Token. I'm assuming that this is, yeah, this thing is a globe sort of thing.
Actually, it's a hovering cube.
Just
Kind of like just hovering, twisting, turning, kind of like a fourth dimensional object that kind of got stuck in 3 dimensions.
Can he poke it?
Yeah. It feels weird. That's all I can tell you. It feels, there's nothing bad that happens. It's just the scrunch emoji. And just,
Just
okay, I'm good.
Just
Careful about snooping. And it sounds mildly entertained, at the very least.
But what even is this? There was one outside too, wasn't there?
There's lights of a sort.
And he does look over at this lantern right there, just like,
Yes.
what is it? Just like an ambient light source, or
It I'm sure you can tell by being near it. It does more than just light up. And as they say that, you realize that some of the anxiety that you had being here after being lied to, being sort of abandoned, being tricked and led to believe in a world that doesn't exist, it kind of fades while you're near this. You almost feel calm.
it's a calming thing.
Ding ding ding, correct?
I guess that's a good thing, huh? Or oh.
And as you turn to face uh, Saren as they're writing on some parchment on a actual real scroll rather than in books or tomes, you notice that there's a picture frame turned away from you.
Turned away by how much? Just like if he leaned in a certain direction, he could see the picture?
Yeah,
He's going to lean to see the picture?
you see 4 people. You see a grinning, crooked grin of a certain high wind, matched with her brother leaning against a rather disheveled and tired looking Saren, though younger, but smiling. And behind those 3, there's an almost familiar face, if a little bit younger, a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more free. Dark skin, dark hair, Crown's Guard attire.
He's just, oh, I've met them.
I know.
You know, I mean, of course you know. You seem to know a lot of things.
Part and parcel of the job. I'm a field medic, or I used to be.
Are you friends with them?
The scribbling stops for a half second. Yes, and continues.
Are you still friends with them?
There's a sigh. It's not as easy as yes or no in that department.
Hmm. Guess I can kinda understand that.
Think of it like this. If 2 out of 4 people remember everything that's ever happened to them, while the other 2 did not choose to forget but were made to forget, how do you think that relationship would turn out?
Not very well.
Hmm. Regardless, and just perks up again and wanders around you to the currently oleander and taps one of the inner leaves, and you see it shift and shudder, turning into almost sort of a bright red berry bush, and just plucks a few of them.
What's
Y- it's to put it simply, it works wonders for people with anxiety.
oh.
It would be a daily medicine, but I also can tell it might. That is the distinction here. Actually, no. And kind of almost places the berries back onto the bush, taps the inner leaves again, and it shifts and shudders and changes again into a more purple flower that looks more ornamental than anything else, and kind of takes one.
What's that one?
It's for survivors of traumatic situations. It helps with not sleep, but and they tilt their head, trying to find the right words to explain it. It helps with the nightmares.
But I haven't said if I've had any nightmares.
And they kind of lean a little too close to you with
Mm.
the eyes of somebody who definitely sees more than they're ever going to let on. He goes, the bags under your eyes, the way your hands shake. I mentioned nightmares earlier, and you zoned out a little bit. I'm not stupid, I just want to help.
Alright. Um, guess I'm not in any position to turn down help right now.
You have every choice and right to turn down whatever you deem fit. I'm just saying I'm trying to help.
Just tired. Feels like
There's a
everything.
there's a squint as you start talking.
It just feels like everything we've been trying to do lately just goes wrong instead. Every time I think I find answers, then it just turns out to be another question. With the
Then stop focusing on answers and start looking at which questions you're asking. Sometimes the question you're asking has your answer. And holds out suddenly a small pouch rather than a bottle. once per day, either at dawn or at dusk, because I know you're going to be awake that long. And while yes, this also can be addictive, it's very rare that it's going to. So even if you did take another one to help mitigate your nightmares, it would only make you drowsy. So it's ill-advised.
Alright.
This should be self-fulfilling, but if it doesn't, just feel free to come back.
How would I come back, though? It's not like we're going to be spending that long here on Dollhouse, are we?
That's up to you. Besides, I can show up wherever I'm needed.
Well, I mean, we do still have stuff that we need to do. And we were kind of in the middle of restoration duty.
Ah, yes. You reached that point, did you?
The point where someone attacked the castle and I got dragged through a hallway that was on fire? Yeah.
Yes. Very traumatic situation, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I could say no, but that would be a lie.
There's just a chuckle. Well, stop doing that. Stop lying to yourself. What's actually on your mind? And that's where we'll cut to a different scene.
What?
So, I'm going to ask up front, would you guys like a calmer scene or the intense scene you know that's gonna happen?
I'm just now looking at the fucking muted VC channel. Sue, what was said about snooping? You weren't a dog! Listen. He got really curious. Leave him alone. I am laughing at the fact that Helia basically has ADHD medication, and now Tsubasa has anxiety medication.
They're taking our trauma.
We're getting medicated!
I think a sweet scene would probably be nice.
I mean, unless we want to get the intense one out of the way quickly.
You're not gonna.
Unfortunate.
It's gonna take a bit.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, maybe that one should come last.
Yeah. Let's do this the soft scene, sweet scene, whatever you want to call it scene.
Alrighty.
Soft and sweet, while Tsubasa is currently word vomiting at the doctor of everything that's been happening and he's been doing. God, I can't see. Anyways, I'm gonna mute now.
Proud of you. So, Aster,
Yeah.
you are currently kind of. It's hard to describe what it's like to try and ride an ancient horse for the first time. Like an ancient mythological horse for the first time that is fully aware that you're trying to, be the rider here and not, being taken places. And Barbie looks amused.
It's
Aster,
not funny.
it is a little funny. Didn't you say you were a farmhand?
Yes, for Dream Eaters. And if you were given the chance to ride on one of them, normally they took control. You were there just along for the ride.
There's just this soft laughter under her breath. The thing about riding a horse is that normally the horse can tell if you're nervous and will get nervous in turn. Um, and she looks towards Sleipnir, who is just kind of bouncing back and forth between one pair of feet to the other, and just, well, I don't think you have to worry that much about fear, Sleipnir.
Yeah. Fair.
She's just smiling, waiting for you to either try and fail or try and succeed. Either way, she seems entertained.
He's going to mount Sleipnir again and start sort of at least a soft trot. But again, he doesn't know how to do that.
You kind of get dragged along in that sense of ha 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 ha. I've got you now kind of energy.
Oh, motherfucker.
And Varvy just about not sensing fear. Can sense hesitation. We'll take advantage of it.
You tell me now.
And you're kind of led around a couple of times before settling back into in front of Barbie, who's now standing and Unicorn has been desummoned for the day. Should we go back to your friends?
Ah, the lemon in his mouth. Great. Maybe.
You seem wary. Should I be concerned?
I felt it a little bit when it happened, but just this feeling that we go now, I'm either gonna have therapy or something bad's gonna happen. And he kind of just like flops onto Sleipnir's head. But can't be afraid forever.
No, you can't. But avoidance is a very bad coping mechanism. You know that.
Yeah. I don't think I have very good coping mechanisms, honestly.
I
Working on
think you're
fixing.
better than that boy, honestly.
Which one?
Uh, the. And she pauses for a moment. Alexios?
Yeah, I feel like he's got a whole thing happening with him.
Well, yes. Because. Hmm. And she pauses, seeming to reconsider her word choice. Because he's not truly who he's supposed to. I would be stressed in that situation as well.
Explain?
Hmm. She hums again, considering her words.
Wait,
He's. Hmm?
I'll ask him myself.
And she smiles. Kind of a proud mom smile. Very well. They should be back at the castle. Though, last I recall of this situation, he might be already in an argument.
Well, if I'm nothing but a good way to stop a fight. And he's gonna reach down and just sort of pat Sleipnir's neck. Let's go to the castle, bud. I give an
There's
animal
just a
handling.
whinny.
I give an animal handling to try and like actually move off towards the castle with Sleipnir.
Sure.
I'm very glad for that. Sure, that was a 2.
You think you're handling the animal. This is not true. That's all I'm gonna say on the matter.
Great. So the people at the near the castle front are essentially just gonna hear the hey, slow, and I'm gone. You betrayed me. Crash.
Aster,
Yes.
you kind of crash outside of the entrance to the lobby where you were before, and it's empty. Everyone seems to have gone someplace.
He's gonna
Make a
look at.
perception check for me.
While he does that. He is gonna kind of look at Sleipnir and go, "Are you allowed to come in here?"
There's a whinny of what you think is indignation before you glance around, and one glaring defect in an otherwise perfect room is the shattering crack up the right side of the wall. It looks like a fist of some had hit it.
Sleipnir, me.
There's a sort of
Don't chuff at me.
it does it again.
Hold on. He's gonna cast tongues. All right, what's going on?
There's anger in these halls. I feel it. I will
I
not step foot on Leviathan's territory.
on the wyverns,
Leviathans.
leviathans. Leviathan's a friend. If he's got an issue with you, I'll handle it.
That is not what I'm worried about. The rage of Leviathan is not something so easily.
You don't know Lex like I do.
Do you know Lex? With a sort of tilt of his head.
I know enough to know he's tired. I don't think whatever happened probably wasn't didn't help with how tired he was. He needs a break.
What do you do, Aster?
Just slept near and goes, "Stay if you want. I'll find him." And he makes his way into the hall. Starts sort of following whatever trail he can that would lead him ideally up to the stairs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll start following and looking around for any signs of life that reminisce of. Actually, he'd probably start looking around for any signs of where someone who can call a storm would go. That indignation of there's someone powerful this direction. Wherever his body's
Mhm.
telling him, "Hey, take caution," that's the way he's moving.
The first thing you notice is distant, almost arguing down the right side of the hallway.
He moves towards it.
You hear arguing and more arguing, louder and more angry, indignant, tired, and afraid. But whoever's arguing with this person doesn't seem to know, or at the very least is also in a similar state and can't register it.
Keeps moving.
You hear a noise that drops the heart in your chest to your stomach, and it sounds, you're gonna kill me for this, but have you ever heard the end of show Azula scream?
Yes.
That's what you hear.
He pushes forward, kind of mumbling to himself. "If you can't take it, stay here. I'll move myself."
Make an insight check.
23 not enough?
You have a 23 passive insight?
Yes. I have 17 passive perception, 14 investigation, and 23 insight.
You've heard this sort of scream before, but never from the source that it's coming from. You've heard it from essentially a dream eater who has gone completely out of their wits with grief. A sort of aching, agonizing scream. But this is somehow still human. It's growled and hissing for a second, but then it's human, in pain, hurting. And you recognize the voice. It's Lex.
He'll keep moving towards Lex's voice until he can see them. Lex and whoever he's arguing with.
I do not have a map for this, but you do see for a little while just carnage. It is slowly rebuilding itself as if by nature of the building itself. But you see broken statues that look the same as the wall that should be repairing itself now. You'd see dented armor plates that are self-repairing as well. And as you get closer and closer to the source of the screaming match, essentially, you hear Lex, and he sounds. You know this sound because you used to be this sound. He's overstimulated, and he's not getting a break right now.
As Aster kind of keeps moving forward, more march than anything else, he'll wait until he can actually see Lex before. Once Lex is in his eye line, he will dark dodge to be in front of Lex and whoever he's arguing with.
You see Lex after a few minutes of marching. He's standing outside of a doorway that is currently closed, talking to dark skin, dark hair, currently wearing a suit rather than the attire that most would recognize him in. And it's a back and forth that seems to be going nowhere. And Lex looks shaky, for lack of a better term.
Aster, as he dark dodges, will sort of his form fading to little twinkles almost, rather than the normal shadowy burst of flame or energy. And as these sparks move closer, fast as can be, and the first thing that reforms is his hand. And it grabs onto Lex's. And Aster takes form looking at Lex. Just staring at him. Take a breath.
He visibly grits his teeth, and though it's an attempt at a smile, it looks more like a scowl. Hey, sorry if I got too loud.
It's alright. And Aster gives one of those smug little smiles. I have that effect on people. Get it? I make them loud?
There's a head tilt, almost confused.
It's a sex joke. Don't worry about it.
He kind of stares at you with that expression of someone who is exhausted but isn't willing to sleep yet. And he pulls his hand away kind of roughly. I stayed here with Mr. Simon and walks inside.
Hold on.
What?
You're really just gonna walk away and not even say hi to him? And there's a little ruffle in his jacket. His three sets of eyes kind of pop out, one from the hem of his jacket, one from his collar, and one from his sleeve, as much as he is discomforted by it, as Itty Bitty and Missy kind of stare at Lex.
Now's not a great time.
Never is. So you gotta take them when you get them. Kind of like breathing. Take a breath when you can get it. Can you take a breath, Lex?
No.
Then let us breathe for you.
For once, Aster, I'd like to do this on my own.
All right. Well,
And turns and heads inside. Kind of slamming the door behind you. And you distantly heard a familiar woman's voice.
is it Barbie?
No.
Oh. A history check to see if I remember whose voice it is.
Go ahead.
22.
You recall a woman with kind of pale blonde hair and pale skin, military outfit, having the same cadence. It's Vivian.
Oh, God damn it. Aster's just gonna stand with his back turned to Simon. What'd you do?
I ain't done none. I was just talking to my kid.
Yeah, but that's not normally how talking to your kid ends unless you're not doing a great job. And I like you guys because you normally do a great job. You do good. You make them happy. You didn't seem too happy. What happened?
Got into a fight.
Arthur?
And Simon looks concerned for a second. Yeah,
Where's he at?
in the room. He's sleeping. What? Well, as sleeping as you can get. And Simon, with your passive insight, does seem genuinely concerned, but is also kind of frustrated himself, from what you can ascertain.
The more you dwell on it and do nothing about it, the more it's gonna eat away at you. He's your kid, right?
Yeah.
Prove it.
And Simon walks inside.
Aster is going to sort of move to the wall adjacent of the door and kind of just sit down. Sit there. Calling out the three that were in his jacket and reaching out for Zippy. Kind of hesitant, but still there. Hey, buddy. You got the chance. Now's the time to come.
You hear kind of awkward chittering of just basically the sound of a child just going, "Is everything good?" Like,
He
it's
waggles.
curious and concerned.
He looks at Zippy, waggles his hand. We're okay. I'm okay. Missy and Idie are okay. Me and Biddy are okay. And I think we're the only ones. Hey, Zippy?
Zippy reaches out to kind of gently place a small clawed hand onto your shin of just pat pat.
Yeah. Hey, Zippy? If I asked your help in something, would you help me?
Big old eyes.
When Arthur wakes up, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Zippy looks towards the door, hesitates for a moment, and then looks back at you and shakes their head.
No?
You understand Heartless, don't you?
No, but I think I should be able to understand I know Infernal, Abyssal, and Common. Is one of those not...
Abyssal is fucking goddamn you idiot.
I forgot the connection. I thought Abyssal was Gloom.
No, that's deep speech.
Ah. Then I have had them in reverse this entire time. Yeah, no, I've been able to understand Heartless this entire time.
Great. I'm so proud of you. But no,
Look, if I was smart, I would probably be a full caster that's not a tank.
you hear Zippy go, that's already going to happen.
I know. And I have another favor for you, Zippy.
Yeah?
And he's gonna look at Zippy and go, you remember how you called those itty and bitty after you and Missy got into the race?
Enthusiastic nod.
A larger than normal pool of Heartless will begin to open behind him. You want to go get another one?
Why?
Because I have
Why?
slept near. I have slept near. You four need someone to ride on as well.
Why?
Because it said so, and I want to try it out.
Quint, from your own familiar.
I will ask Missy. She'll do it with no question. And then just for Missy, I will absolutely question you. Hey! Stop being the most sentient one of you four. And
No.
just the immediate, yeah! Yeah! From Itty and Bitty.
But there is a pause from Zippy, looking at the door that for some reason seems to not let sound through. I'm worried.
Yeah. After Simon went in, the doors got quiet. Means someone's casting magic on it. How worried about it are you?
Lex, there's darkness in him.
I would hope so.
No. Just the saddest no you can get. How long does Aster sit there?
He doesn't move. The door to darkness, like the pool of Heartless behind him, does close as his little group of allies
I'm
basically
sorry. That made me break my entire concentration of, oh, the door to darkness.
You know what? That's exactly who I'm gonna summon whenever you let me summon Greater Demon. Mickey the fucking Mouse.
I think Mickey Mouse is a greater demon.
He absolutely he is. Stole all the
Someone
good
please
gay.
vote that.
He stole all the gay shows from us. He absolutely is a Greater Demon.
Please.
Anyways, the pool of Heartless does kind of close for a bit, and it does. I won't say Aster never stops staring at the door because he does kind of look back at the puddle to kind of give the energy of not today, fuck off to whoever was answering that call. And eventually, Aster will just sit there with all his Heartless just sitting and staring.
Wonderful. Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how long you're, and you can't really call it sleep, but you do hear something. And like in that way of you're out cold for a long time and you groggily start waking up and you hear distant in this same room almost pacing just back and forth in the same small area. You wake up to almost nightfall outside. Or maybe dawn right before. It's hard to tell. And what is the first thing Arthur feels when he wakes up?
He feels wow. He feels what's the word?
What's that?
I'm thinking of the word.
Okay, take your time.
He's frustrated that it happened again so quickly. That Lex got hurt again very quickly.
And you, as you wake up, this frustration settling in your chest like a ticking time bomb. You kind of recognize the pacing. It's only happened a couple of times before when you've actually gotten hurt. But it is technically Lex's, though it's kind of quicker, jolted almost, and in a far corner of the room. He doesn't seem to have registered that you're awake.
He probably sits up with a sigh.
The pacing stops. Arthur?
Hmm?
You alright?
I physically I'm okay. I'm so stretched out.
Yeah. It's not been great recently.
It has been one thing after another.
Arthur,
Yeah,
you know we're just kids, right? And he sounds so defeated.
yeah, but sadly we're kids in power. With power.
Doesn't make us any less kids.
No, it doesn't.
I think we need a break. You, me, this, us, whatever is happening, it's too much. If anything else happens, I fear I might. And he stops.
Yeah?
I don't want to hurt you again. But if I stay, I'm going to. I seem to be doing that a lot. And it's at this point that you realize his voice is crackling, kind of as if he's been crying.
I've said it before, but I think you should do what's right for you.
I don't know what it is. I. Arthur, I'm scared. I died. Was killed. I know who killed me. And it's hard not to think that you're involved. And he kind of laughs kind of bitterly. This Vivian is very good at talking me down from doing things. The others, I think we need a break.
I'm sorry you've had to go through what happened to you.
And he kind of walks hesitantly over to you, as if expecting you to lash out. What does Arthur do?
Do you want to make it 1-for-1?
Do you? Would it make you feel better? And for a second, Arthur, that smug attitude from when you were younger briefly comes back.
Would it make me feel better?
After all, I did kinda knock you out. And he grins, kind of awkwardly.
You know what? An eye for an eye. I guess. Yeah, sure. You know what? That
Do you
wasn't
hit
that. That wasn't
do
that
you,
enthusiastic.
do you hit full force the way that he hit you?
Can I do it while using lay on hands?
One of these days, Cayde.
Yeah.
One of these days, you're going to not catch me off guard. I'm going to have a response immediately, I swear. You want to throw hands and use lay on hands, yeah?
Yeah, so I can still get satisfaction of hitting him without hurting him too hard.
Yeah. Sure. And you just get the response of Lex actually does take a step back as you hit him. You're not sure if this is because you're actually strong enough to move him or if he's being nice. But he does kind of look at you, kind of curiously, shakes his head as if not even deigning it with a response. Good one.
But sometimes I'm a little clever.
Sometimes? I'd say it's your selling point.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go. I take care of yourself, okay? And he starts to turn to walk away. Arthur, make an insight check for me.
Okay. Tier 1. That's not bad.
As he is walking away, you get this feeling in your chest, almost anxiety again, of he might be walking out the door for the last. You're not sure if it's anxiety, just true, after everything you've been through.
See, here's the problem I've seen through Arthur is whenever something seemed like a coincidence in his eyes, it was never a coincidence, and that's never been proven wrong towards him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to take initiative and probably I guess tackle seems harsh, but I don't understand anything softer. So probably tackle Lex to the ground.
Glump.
There's this sort of noise of confusion as at first he kind of doesn't budge and then kind of falls regardless because he's in safe company. Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
are you seriously doing this right now?
Yeah,
Or, it's just for a little while.
I got a weird feeling, and usually my feelings aren't like, it's never been proven wrong.
I think you're just traumatized, buddy.
You'd think that. I've never, it's never been incorrect. I've not been proven wrong.
Okay, so what's the feeling? While you're basically on top of him.
It feels like you won't come back.
Again, just for a little while. I'm truly starting to believe that you need help.
I do, but that's besides the point.
I'm going to let your mom know about this. I hope you know.
Too many things, too many weird things have happened around me to not, what's the word?
You got it. Just in character of like grinning of like, you got it.
To just ignore a strange feeling, even if it seems insane. I traveled to a different world through a dream.
Yeah. Sounds kind of odd, but not the weirdest thing I think that's ever happened at this rate.
Exactly.
And Arthur, you hear the door swing open as Gray goes, "What in the hell's going? You know, I shouldn't have barged in." Ah, your kid is, I think, actually taking initiative.
Why the fuck do you think I tried to stop you? Come over here, you dumb mother. And you just see Gray get dragged off. Continue as you were. Close. You put me in a southern accent, you cowboy son of a... Vivian?
Don't look at me.
Your brother.
Oh, like I can control my brother.
I sure as shit can't. Well, I can, but I'd rather not.
And Lex, as that bickering happens outside the door, which wasn't closed per se, just goes, "Do you know what they're talking about?"
No.
Hmm. Well, and kind of moves you to the side and goes to stand up again. I really think we could use a break at this rate, honestly. It's getting a little odd to not have lives of our own, and that's coming from me as a bodyguard, which, by the way, um, I might step back from doing that for a little while. Because I think it's bad for my mental health right now. I'm not that's what Miss Vivian said, at least. Arthur, that feeling has kind of faded. It's not gone, but it is less troublesome in the back of your mind. What does Arthur do knowing that he can't stop Lex from walking out the door?
Um, he's too starving to give up, but I don't have any ideas.
Arthur, as you're fumbling for the right thing to do, just insistent to not let go, you get kind of picked up, which is an odd feeling, not the worst feeling. It's just, how many times has this happened? He's smaller than you by like at least 6 inches. This is terrible kind of feeling.
Hmm.
And he sets you on your feet. He goes, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm really not going to be away that long. And if I am, I'll just text you. Right? It's not like anybody's going to bar me from talking to my best friend, right?
That doesn't seem like something that couldn't happen.
He reaches up and like gently takes the sides of your face in his hands and goes, you need to relax. Okay? Even if you have to go home for a while. Okay? Just relax. Scout's honor. Nothing's going to happen.
You're not a scout.
Can you let me have a single win?
You've won.
And what exactly have I won? Actually, don't answer that. I think that's gonna go poorly for me. Then takes his hands away. Fucking oblivious ass bastard. Hi, Cayde. Come on. At least try to sleep a little bit more. I'll text you, alright?
Um, I. Okay.
You're acting really weird today. Did I hit you that hard? And he just laughs and turns and actually starts walking away this way.
I. I actually have a question.
Yeah?
Uh. Earlier, you talked
Mm-hmm.
about dying.
Yes.
Supposedly, you got some memories back.
He stops. Yeah. Why?
Oh, don't. That must have been a terrible experience.
It was. I'll get better. I always do, right? Can't knock me down for very long. You know that much.
Yeah. Always gets back up.
And he kind of turns to face you and grins. Just wait for me, okay? I'll be back. And heads out. And you hear in the distance a door open and then shut behind him. As you hear boot falls in accordance of just, I'll go check up on him. Don't make anything worse. And you hear the door open and close again. Sorry.
I Does someone have a coin they could flip for me?
Yeah, what's up?
Heads will be to stay put, and tails will be to go after him.
Go after his ass.
Did you flip it, and was it tails?
Yes.
Okay.
As you were saying the other part, I had already started flipping it.
Yeah.
Go after his ass, you gay nerd.
You'll fucking wow fast. You'll definitely use that scarf.
This will be our last scene of the night as we see Lex walking down an empty corridor of the dream house castle, essentially. We see him thinking, not paying attention, just narrowly dodging things as they come into his periphery. And he doesn't really pay any mind as he hears a voice. So, are you alright? And just looks up as he sees an unfamiliar face. I'm sorry, who are you? Just a friend. Or whatever you want to think of me as. And that person with pale, platinum blonde almost hair that reaches their shoulders, wearing a pure black jacket that reaches their waist, and otherwise modern, casual clothes, with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth. Just checking up on you. Seems like no one else is doing the same. I just came back from my friend. He checked up on me. Yes. After how long? He's stressed. I'm alright. You deserve better. And who are you to be saying this to me? And there's a grin as this person holds out a compass. Take this. It will lead you where you want to go. I'm not taking an item from a stranger. You do it all the time. What's stopping you now? And he hesitates as he hears not just one voice, but two behind him, one a shorter distance away, going, "Kid, you alright?" And he turns to face Vivian at first, then seeing Arthur gaining distance really quickly. Goes, yeah, just talking to someone. And Viv kind of pauses. Yeah, there's no one else in here. It's just you and me and the kid behind me. What are you talking about? They're right. And he turns around, and that person is missing, with only an evidence of their presence being a small compass spinning on the ground. And that's why we're in tonight's session.
Kick the compass! I didn't stop the recording, shit.